now, the Israeli government seeks not peace, but the erasure of Palestine. These cannot be allowed. They must be stopped. Gaza is Palestine, and it belongs to the Palestinians. We must ensure that the Palestinians remain in Gaza. We must rebuild the Gaza Strip together.
And for more analysis, let's bring in Suay Nilhan Acikalın, who joins us live from Ankara. She is an associate professor of international relations at the Ankara Haci Bayram Veli University. Professor, the foreign minister of Turkey has said that solidarity alone is not enough. Can you talk us through a little bit of the efforts that Turkey has made to attempt to bring this horrible conflict to a close?
Thank you very much. First of all, it's important to remind that the emergency meeting of the OIC was depends on the Turkey's call to OIC. And also 1 month ago in Istanbul, in the opening ceremony of the OIC meeting, the President Erdogan and the Minister Hakan Fidan clearly remind that we need to have a collective action and collective policies towards the Israel. In this respect, Turkey has been playing a very key role since the 7th of October and before the 7th of October under the framework of the Palestine diplomacy. And this Palestine diplomacy depends on the two pillars. One of them is, of course, focusing on the recognition of the Palestine by the other countries, especially the Western countries. And the second one, of course, the humanitarian pillar that Turkey has been basically leading the humanitarian aid to Gaza and the other part of the Palestine since the conflict started. And depends on the two pillars. If you look over the 2 years, Turkey has been developing a great framework with some Western countries in the mutual and also bilateral relations, as well as the multilateral platforms, to bring in them to condemn the Israeli policies towards the Gaza. And in terms of the humanitarian policy, it's clearly seen that Turkey's humanitarian aid truck, not only by Turkey, but also the regional countries, especially Egypt and the other neighboring countries, has been giving lots of the humanitarian aid to the Gaza. So if you look over in general sense, Turkey it is best to convince the other countries to recognize Palestine and at the end of the day, two-state solution, but at the same time trying to find a solution towards the starvation and the humanitarian condition in Gaza.
Professor, if we could just zoom into the OIC a little bit more, Hakan Fidan said today that one of the organization's main founding goals is ensuring the rights of the Palestinian people. Can you talk us through what challenges the group faces in achieving that goal, both internally and externally?
Of course, internally, it's a clear divergence between the member countries, how they kept the policies towards the Israel, and most of the countries who has the economic power have a potential to use as the leverage or the foreign policy tools, not directly to Israel, but directly to United States. But it seems there is a clear unwillingness. But also, it's a very unfortunate reminder that the reason behind why the OIC was established in the 1960s, it's just happened after the attack of Israel to Masjid al-Aqsa. So it is a quite interesting and very unfortunate time for also to see that the OIC countries doesn't have one formation or the one collective policies towards the Israel. And one of of course, the external challenges they have faced, first, no one wants to risk the regional and the foreign policy interest in case of the Palestine. But at the same time, it created a regional fragile towards the both OIC countries and the other countries in the region. So at the end of the day, if there will be no collective voices or no collective action or policies, there won't be any concrete outcome.
Professor Acikalın joining us live from Ankara. Really appreciate your expertise.